Good morning. Welcome to our annual Convocation to mark the official opening of the new academic year. This time, we kindly ask that you turn off all cell phones, PDAs, and other communication devices so that all can enjoy the program. Mr. President, with classes having begun, I now declare the 2011-2012 academic year in session. At this time, we will have the opening prayer by the Reverend Ernest Andrew Brooks III, Associate Campus Minister and member of Morehouse class of 2005.
Let us pray. The light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. For 144 years, Morehouse College has served as a conduit of spiritual and intellectual light. For the longevity of our years, we are grateful. But yes, all the more for the candles that have been and continue to be lit from this great cauldron of light. Although we must admit that we are not the source of the light, we are eternally grateful for the responsibility entrusted to us as stewards of this light. These students are the world's candles that have been sent to us to ignite with the fire of intellectual curiosity, ethical consistency, and social maturity. What now seems to be but a nascent spark will soon become a robust flame, strong enough to illuminate the dark places of this world. God bless us with the foresight and the resources to continue to sustain this light. For when our wicks burn low and our wax is but a residual reminder of what was, your eternal flame will continue to burn, and new candles will emerge to illuminate a world that is now but a mystery. Bless this awesome mystery of light that is Morehouse College. Amen.
Let us stand for the presentation of colors, followed by the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, and lift every voice and sing. March time. March. Left turn. March. Color guard. Oh. Present. Colors. March. Right, sir. March. Forward. March. Left. 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 Right. Left. 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 Right. You may be seated. This time it is my pleasure to introduce members of the platform. As I call your names, please stand and remain standing until all persons have been introduced. I will not call the names of persons who will be introduced later as participants on the program. I ask that the audience would hold its applause until all persons have been introduced. From my right, Mr. Henry Goodgame, Director of Alumni Relations. Mr. Kevin McGee, National Alumni Association President. Mr. Travis Randall, President of the Student Government Association. Dr. John K. Haynes, the Dean of the Division of Science and Mathematics. Dr. John Williams, Dean of Division of Business and Economics. Mr. Philip Howard, Vice President of Institutional Advancement. And from my left, not from my left, Dr. William Bynum, VP for Enrollment Management and Student Services. Ms. Sheila Jacobs, Interim Vice President for Business and Finance and Chief Financial Officer. Attorney Robin Crittenden, General Counsel of the College. Mr. Terrence Richardson, Diplomat in Residence, Morehouse College. Ms. Loretta Parham, CEO and Director of the Robert W. Woodruff Library. The Reverend Ernest Brooks, Associate Campus Minister. Dr. Tobe Johnson. Mace Bearer and Interim Dean of the Division of Social Sciences and Humanities. Let's give all the members of our platform a round of applause. This time I would like to recognize other persons who are with us today. First, will all members of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees stand and be recognized? Will all members of the Alumni Association stand and be recognized? Members of the most outstanding faculty on the planet, please stand and be recognized. Dare I say, in the universe. Members of the Morehouse College staff, please stand and be recognized. Dr. Wiley Perdue, former acting president of the college, is here. Wiley, please stand. Dr. Samuel Du Bois Cook, former president of Dillard University, please stand with your lovely wife and be recognized. Ms. Yvonne Gloucester, wife of former President Hugh Morris Gloucester, please stand. And the first and only lady of Morehouse College, Dr. Cheryl Franklin, please stand. The newest members of the Morehouse College family, the men of the class of 2015, transfer students who are here for the first time, please stand and be recognized by the family. Last and certainly by no means least, will the men of the class of 2012, our seniors, please stand and be recognized. The ushers on duty today are men of the Morehouse College soccer team. We thank you guys for your service. Sorry, there are two other groups that I need to recognize because they are here. Let's see if I can find my notes. First, we have the Learning Club, important group that's represented here today. Please stand if you're here. As well as members of the administration, alumni, and friends from the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies of Israel. Are you here? Thank you for your presence. At Morehouse, we mark the beginning of every academic year with a ceremonial assembly of the members of this college community, students, faculty, administration, alumni, and friends. Through this ritual, we recommit ourselves to the mission of the college and the continuing pursuit of excellence in those efforts that support that mission. The formality of this occasion is a testament to the seriousness of our purpose. At the head of this morning's procession was the mace carried by our Grand Marshal, Dr. Tobe Johnson. Carved into the mace are a series of symbols and icons representing rebirth and regeneration, and spiritual continuity and excellence in all things. My colleagues and I are wearing our academic regalia. We've requested that you, our students, dress in shirt and tie. These garments are symbols of our professional preparation for and your eagerness to meet the tasks and challenges of this new academic year. But they represent more than that. They also remind us to expect academic excellence from ourselves and each other in the adventure of discovery and learning. The college's theme for this academic year is Morehouse Renaissance Men with a Social Conscience, championing causes of equality, justice, and peace across the globe. This theme is based on President Franklin's vision, which he will share with us today and throughout the year. Above all, at Morehouse, we must be committed to affirm excellence in every aspect of our daily activities and to recognize the significance and consequences of every choice that we make. This commitment also involves a partnership between and among faculty, students, and staff. Thus today, we ask every member of the Morehouse family to pledge his or her personal commitment to the success of that partnership. Mr. President, our confidence that Morehouse College will meet the challenges of the 2011-2012 year rests on the strength of those commitments. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our occasion. We will now listen to the anthem Zion's Walls, performed by the Morehouse College Glee Club under the direction of Dr. David Morrow. The accompanist for this performance is Mr. Keedron Hall, class of 2012. President Robert Michael Franklin has already been fully and formally introduced to the new students during new student orientation. He's also been introduced to the Morehouse family on a number of other occasions. Therefore, there is no need for a formal introduction. Unfortunately, on the printed program is only a synopsis, a bird's eye view, if you will, of who he is because of space limitations. Yet we all know that his credentials are sterling and his accomplishments are legion. There is a need, personal privilege I might take, to remind you of how fortunate we are to have this person as our 10th president of this college. Member of the class of 1975, the second greatest class in the history of the college. One whose vision for excellence resonates throughout all of our collective efforts to make Morehouse a place where a cultural renaissance will find its nascence and fruition. Ladies and gentlemen, our president, Dr. Robert Michael Franklin.
Thank you all. Thank you all a great deal. Greetings to the Morehouse family and friends, and welcome to the college's 128th Convocation. Once again, welcome the men of the class of 2015. You've been men of Morehouse for only 1 month. Welcome. You've earned the seat that you now occupy. Now I challenge you to work hard in this, your first semester at Morehouse College. This is the time to establish a pattern, a track record, a strong first impression. The men of the class of 2014, I applaud you for completing your first year. Are you here this morning? Congratulations. Oh, to be a sophisticated sophomore once again. Are the men of the class of 2013 in the house today? Gentlemen, you have finally crossed the threshold. You are official upperclassmen now. And so I want you to continue to embody the ideals of this great college. It's been our great privilege and pleasure to watch you mature and grow. People are excited about your journey at Morehouse. You are making an impact. Please continue and make this your best year yet. The members of the class of 2012. What was that symbol? It was 4 years. Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. 4 years. You've proven, gentlemen, that you have staying power. You've navigated the course and you've made a difference at Morehouse. You are making a difference in the world, and your college and your faculty is exceedingly proud of you. We trust that you will continue not to allow senioritis to set in, but will, gentlemen, remain focused for every day of your senior year, living a well-balanced life. Some of you are already being measured for rings and robes. Some of you are simply threatening to graduate. But we will support you as you make your pilgrimage to that grand day when we gather just a few months from now for a commencement ceremony that is like none other in the world. Morehouse is fortunate to have a world-class faculty. Provost Jackson has acknowledged them in abundant, effusive terms. I want you to know the president understands that such public compliments are no substitute for a raise, and we're working on that. These colleagues work hard, and they merit the compensation and support that this college is committed to providing as we move through this capital campaign. It's going to be a transformative campaign and will keep us on the leading edge of institutions that are good to work for. I also call attention to the Morehouse College staff. Thank you for your hard work. We could not do what we do without you, without your love, your leadership, your labors, and I ask you again to stand, the members of the staff. Thank you a great deal. Since 1867, the year of our founding, this college has been making promises and delivering on those promises. We focused on promoting academic excellence. We focused on promoting leadership with integrity. And we've promoted the value of community service, of lifting others as you climb, to cite that wonderful speech title by the 19th century African-American feminist, Anna Julia Cooper, "Lift others as you climb." And so keeping promises has made Morehouse what she is today. People now expect something special in particular from this college because we've responded to the widening human need in the past. And today that need is great in this nation, certainly in communities of color throughout this country and throughout the world. And Morehouse continues to wear a strong brand because of the promises that we have kept. Each of us is responsible for upholding our share of the bargain, our share of the brand. Faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, parents, all of us together have a role in lifting the Morehouse banner. And so as we officially begin the 2011-12 academic year, I ask that you pause with me to focus on the elements of this notion of a great brand. Now, you all recognize this first brand. Hope you can see these on the side wings and panels. This company, Coca-Cola, was started in 1888 here in Atlanta when a curious pharmacist concocted a caramel-colored liquid and added carbonated water. As he began, he sold this beverage for 5 cents per glass, and in the first year, averaged only 45 cents per day in sales. But they persisted. And now Coca-Cola is a global corporation estimated to reach revenues this year of $46 billion. All it is soda water with sugar added and some secret concoction. For most of us, the red and white Coca-Cola logo represents a refreshing beverage, but the company's success is equally about the values, the promises it makes: leadership, collaboration, integrity, accountability, consistency, diversity. Coca-Cola has been around for the past 133 years, promising its customers that their products are not only good, but they're produced by a corporation that focuses on the needs of all those who have a hand in producing, distributing, and consuming its products. We admire that company. This is not a commercial, but it is simply an affirmation of strong brands that make promises and keep them. This next brand, Delta, had humble beginnings as a crop dusting operation in Macon. Now, Delta serves more than 160 million customers per year and flies to more than 350 destinations in 65 countries on 6 continents. I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning when the CEO announced that Delta is reestablishing its non-stop service from Atlanta to Shanghai, China. The airline, it also has numerous sites in Africa, direct service, and in much of that credit goes to our trustee, Ambassador Andrew Young, for underscoring the importance of Africa as a destination of the future. For 87 years, Delta has shaped its reputation as the South's premier airline and has been named the most admired in the industry by Forbes magazine. This next company you'll recognize, there are many in the class, all of them excellence, but 2 innovative teenagers in Seattle started a delivery company with a $100 loan. The company evolved into UPS, or United Parcel Service, headquartered in Sandy Springs, just outside Atlanta. Today, UPS, or Brown, delivers more than 15 million packages a day to over 6 million customers in 220 countries around the world. This next brand, one of my personal favorites, started by a professor of engineering in Austria in 1948, Professor Porsche. And by the way, gentlemen, when you pronounce this word, that E on the end in German is pronounced as a short A. So it's not Porsche, it's Porsche. It's a touch of sophistication. So the next time, you're at a prayer meeting or a cocktail party, you might simply drop in, "Oh yes, I do hope to own a Porsche one day." The Porsche Motor Company has committed itself to something called the Porsche Intelligent Performance Principle, and it's driving their business in an exciting way. And many of you know that they have located a facility and a racetrack, a test track, just south of the Atlanta airport, and I've already had outreach to the president of that company for a Morehouse-Porsche relationship. More to come. This next logo, something that I sit in terror sometimes on this stage and look out and see a number of these shining in the darkness. When some of us were students at Morehouse and other colleges and universities, personal computers were not accessible. But in the several years since that time, technology has really revolutionized the life of a student, of what it means to be a student. Note that Microsoft, another great brand that we could have used just as easily, and they are friends to this college, Microsoft was established in 1975, the year I graduated from this institution. A year later, 76, Apple was born. All of you are familiar with those brands. And not only do most of you own your own personal computers today, many of you have additional technology to support your academic and recreational endeavors. In fact, your technology demands and expectations are pushing your college to a level of performance we cannot yet afford, but we are going to stretch to get there. One of the things that Apple has distinguished itself in is a line of personal products, even the line of products marked by that little prefatory I. The iPod, iPhone, iPad, and soon to come iTV, emphasizes this notion that technology is personal. It is an extension of the individual. And in my inaugural address, I hope you will go back to the website and check it, I warned against the dangers of becoming so attached to these mobile devices, to impersonal technology, that they threaten to obscure our ability to see other people, relate to people, talk to people face to face. So gentlemen, please continue to challenge and check yourself. I see some of you walking out of the lecture halls, this extraordinary faculty, and in less than 10 seconds you have the pods the earplugs in your ears. And gentlemen, I just want to plead with you this morning as we begin this academic year, allow the knowledge that you've heard and encountered to marinate in your brain at least 5 minutes before popping in, unless you are listening to another lecture, which I have an opinion about. It's not likely. And so I'm going to ask you, if you see me walk past you on Brown Street and I hold up to 5, we all know now 5 minutes. Did you allow the knowledge, the discussion, the conversation, the reading, the argument, the engagement to sit with you? Can you summarize the point of that last lecture or class session? Use that 5 minutes to actively work your brain in that fashion. So when I hold up to 5, I just want to see you nod and give me back to 5. And so what exactly is a brand, and how important is it to an organization? Now, many of you in the business program and John Williams and this extraordinary business faculty know this better than I do. Well, we can talk about a brand as a name, a term, a sign, a color, a symbol, a design. It is principally an identifier. A good brand differentiates you, sets you apart from the others. A good brand makes a lasting impression, easily, readily recognizable. And this is most important for me, because I'm cautious and generally suspect of the creeping materialism and commercialization in our culture and throughout the world. We need to critique that and be cautious of it, even as we promote greater opportunity and prosperity. But what impact is it having on the quality of human life? And is that prosperity a shared prosperity? That is the social justice agenda that Morehouse brings to the table and the conversation. At the same time, we want brands to be trustworthy, that they deliver consistently, that they make promises and they keep them. And the brand is not simply about reaching a target market, hoping that you can compete for the interest and loyalty, but rather the brand's real agenda is to assert we are the only option that can fully enhance your life and satisfy your needs. So take a look at this next brand. This brand that many of us wear on our t-shirts and in various places takes in particular pride in its legacy. Since 1867, we've been educating young men, largely African-American men of promise. As I've said before, we're historically and proudly black, but not exclusively black. And we see and will continue to see increasing diversity in the student body, faculty, and staff, and I celebrate that. But the excellence with which we approach our classroom and co-curricular experience is non-negotiable. That is the only way we can ensure that this brand delivers on its promise. Once again, we all have the obligation to uphold our part of the promise. We hear often about the Morehouse mystique inside and outside this community, but only recently have we really begun to dissect and analyze that brand. What is that brand? Let me suggest that the hymn we close with at the end of this chapel, this Crown Forum, offers some important clues, and I'd like us during this coming year to think about the promises of dear old Morehouse. Dear old Morehouse, we have pledged our lives to thee, and will ever, yea, forever, give ourselves. We have pledged our lives, give ourselves. Note what's at work in the language here, the logic of the position of the brand. That Morehouse is not an individual experience. It is a communal, collective project. The person that you are seated next to now is a part of your Morehouse experience. And so I reiterate something that I said in the inaugural, that Morehouse is its people. So I'm going to walk away from this podium. hope our camera person, for the benefit of those watching on web stream, will be able to follow this performance. We talk about the talent that makes the brand, who delivers on the promises. Tobe Johnson, when I was a student here, was a young, dynamic professor, and today we identified Tobe as the longest-serving professor at Morehouse College, and he continues to teach and mentor. I am so proud of this faculty that publishes in journals and popular news organs throughout this nation and throughout the world. And time doesn't permit to call all of them out, but let me just mention Professor Larry Bloomer, a professor of biology, but one who is a leading voice in this nation on environmental justice and promoting better stewardship of our environment here at Morehouse. Larry, I'm putting you on the spot, but just 10 seconds, give a charge to this community about what you think we can do better. Is there one thing? After the last faculty meeting, Larry Bloomer spoke to the faculty, and I immediately went back and changed the placement of my trash can and my recycle bin, and brought the recycle bin closer, because what he said was 90% of what you use should go into that blue container. So, Larry, please indulge us.
You know, this is not a setup. You know, this is really to our students. What you do every day makes a difference. The choices you make every day make a difference. Whether you turn lights off, whether you recycle your waste, the choices you make after you leave Morehouse will make even a greater difference. The kind of car you drive, whether it's a Porsche or not, the kind of fuel economy it gets, the kind of appliances you buy, the kind of home you live in, those things make a difference. I'm not suggesting that we all have to make sacrifices, or great sacrifices, but the challenge we have as individuals, as a country, and as citizens of the world are greater than our individual needs, and we will pay for them one way or the other. So your choices make a difference.
Thank you, Larry. A number of faculty here, and Michael Hodge, chair of our sociology department, is leading a terrific and very exciting project promoting comparative study and examination of understandings of masculinity in the culture today. What better place to have a leading edge research project in this very area? I walked past the Faces of Manhood bulletin board yesterday in Wheeler Hall. I found some of it disturbing, or shall we say unsettling. But I thought, no, this is exactly the kind of candor and honesty that Morehouse needs about the varieties of ways of thinking about what it means to be a man. We have a stereotype. Morehouse only produces and promotes the Brooks Brothers bow tie, Porsche driving brother. No, we're actually more complicated than that, and it's our job to say that. Mike, would you just 10 seconds say something about this project that this community can look forward to as we move forward?
Thank you. We'd just like to have you come by our office and check us out, the Faces of Manhood Project, and we're simply asking you to begin a conversation about what it really means to be a man in the 21st global gendered community.
Thank you, Michael. Professor Henrietta Yang is leading the charge on our Chinese language program. I haven't told or alerted any of these faculty that I would do this, so they are absolutely terrified, and I apologize. They're going to get on my case later, but I'm taking this risk today to make a point about the genius, and any one of these faculty members, we could do this, and they would all have something important to say to us. about how to broaden the mind of the Renaissance man in this culture. So, Henrietta, I missed the wonderful Chinese Moon Festival on Monday. I apologize, I was traveling. But is there just a quick word you want to say to us about the Chinese language at Morehouse College? Coca-Cola and the State Department have invested in this program. There's more to come.
嗨，你们好。Yeah, I'm very happy. Like 3 years ago, when I say 你好, not many people could respond to that. But now, when I say 你好, or I don't even say 你好, but I hear that everywhere when I was walking on campus, and I'm very proud of that. And as President Franklin mentioned, Monday's event, that's our students' event. Our students make it successful. And I told my students, that's your event, you should be proud of it. And here I feel I follow President Franklin's lead. It's a great brand, and I want to produce our brand. Now, the brand has been recognized by the State Department, not just a Chinese Studies program, also the Study Abroad program. And I hope you will stop by to check it out. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. As I walk back up, I do want to acknowledge a staff member. I hope she's here. I do not see her. Is Verna Bolton here? Verna is in the office, Henry tells me, but Henry Goodgame, a graduate of this college, Verna Bolton, Madeline Rogers, Damon Phillips, were the team that did the real groundwork in identifying those over 400 Morehouse men and men of Morehouse who were Oprah Winfrey scholars. So when they were on national and international television, it was because of the hard work of our alumni relations team. I did not give them due credit, and I just want to acknowledge the terrific work, Henry, Verna, Damon, and all of you. Now let me just turn for a couple of moments to our students. Our students. Keeping the promise. Some of you know that I recently had a plane ride seated next to a young rapper, 50 Cent, or do you say 50? And I showed him my Facebook picture, and he was intrigued. He said, "Why do you wear this, your graduation commencement garb?" I said, "I want these young men, when they look at me, to think about the day they will see and stand next to me in this garb to receive their degrees. I'm trying to imprint a message about the importance, particularly of African-American male graduation rates, and how Morehouse is going to push through the ceiling on this. We work together." But he laughed. I told him, the students look at my medallion, the academic medallion, that only a president of an institution wears, and they tease me. They say, "You stole this from Kanye West." And 50 laughed, and he said, "No, you know what? All of us," and I've said this to Ludacris, I said it to Lupe and to Rick Ross. I haven't yet caught up with Wayne or Weezy. But the first thing out of my mouth when I meet with these young men, whether I care for their musical arts or not, is number one, do you have an interest in returning to college to complete your education? Consider Morehouse. If you have the capacity to be admitted. And secondly, and they do, they are smart, they are brilliant, so I know that they could do the work. But the second question I always have when I have my private moment with these young, rich artists is there something more you could do to help the men of Morehouse complete their education? First, you come to Morehouse, and if not, help another brother complete his Morehouse education. And we've had some promising conversations, and you saw Ludacris and Justin Bieber delivered a check the other day, so we are making some progress. Where's Nick Aziz? I want to thank Nick. Stand up, Nick. Nick Aziz is editor of the Maroon Tiger. But in addition, he is already publishing. So last month in the Huffington Post, he had an article on why I love Morehouse and talked about the importance of HBCUs. And so I want everyone who has a smartphone right now to just take it out. So brothers, I know that often you have these out when you should not have them out, but we're going to represent, and all of you who will participate. My Twitter account is Morehouse Mystique. Morehouse, MYSTIQ, no E on the end. President Travis Randall, who we're going to hear a sentence from in a moment, met with me yesterday and challenged me to change the photo on my Twitter account because I've got the pyramids there. He says, Dr. Franklin, a lot of us don't know that that is you. So I'm going to change that given his good president-to-president advice. But I want you to tweet right now just something positive about your Morehouse experience. I know we all spend a lot of time Morehouse hating. For one time, brother, just give us an ounce of love, just 28.35 grams of love right now. Something positive that has occurred or happening for you at Morehouse. Just take 30 seconds. As I walk over and ask Travis to offer just a 30-second charge as I prepare to wrap up here to the students. We're going to hear from him again, but I wanted him on the President's moment, this Convocation Day, to issue his charge to our student body. He is an extraordinary young man from Chicago. And Travis, we appreciate your leadership.
To every man of Morehouse in this chapel tonight, the only bit of advice I can give you is to be engaged and get involved. Over my past 2 years as president, the thing that I've realized is that there's miscommunication between administration and students. And the problem is that we don't have students sitting in these places of positions, these places of influence, to really talk about the experience of a man of Morehouse. So for you out there, for all those people who have complaints, who have concerns, who have problems, don't just complain. Get involved. Do something. And remember that student leadership is not just about the perks, because the perks are good, but the sacrifice is even greater. Thank you.
Thank you, President Randall. There's one more president on the stage, and he's the president of the National Alumni Association. He's an extraordinary leader who, along with Brandon Banks, the president of the Atlanta chapter of the National Alumni, they bring pizza to this campus to feed students. They are there as mentors. They are a constant presence. I admire these gentlemen a great deal. They remind me of the kind of love for this college of President Samuel Du Bois Cook. They remind me of Art McClung, who is here today. And Mr. National President, would you just give your brief charge to us, because you looked at the Howard Morehouse opportunity to raise money through a Put Your Money Where Your Pride Is campaign. It was extraordinary. It raised over $27,000. Mr. President, I want to thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Franklin. Good morning, gentlemen. I'll just be very brief. I would say the first thing that I would advise you or challenge you to do as I look back over my experience would be to really distinguish yourself from the crowd. When you're in college, sometimes there's a desire to blend in, to hang out, but spend a lot of time defining yourself and really identifying who you are as a person and what you want to contribute. Secondly, I would say mentor. When I was in Morehouse College, I was a mentor. I mentored young men, young ladies, and I think that's probably one of the most valuable things that you can do. There's a misconception that as a student, one of the biggest things that you do is learn, but you also have the capacity to teach. There's a lot that you know. There is wisdom that you have that you can share with others. And finally, I would say, and this is probably the most important thing that you will do while you're here at Morehouse, particularly to the seniors, before next semester, check with your professors and the registrar's office and make sure you have all of your classes. Very simple. But thank you, gentlemen. Good luck to you. Godspeed.
Thank you, President McGee. He talked about getting involved in the community, and I want to just remind us of an event that is unfolding in our contemporary lives. This is not by way of an endorsement. But the students yesterday of the NAACP campus chapter reminded me that they are trying to save the life of Troy Davis, a young man who will be executed on this weekend unless the Board of Pardon and Paroles issues a stay. I have written to that board to ask that they at least not allow the execution to go forward. There is considerable doubt about the evidence against him. There are rallies that you will hear from our students about, but you can check the Twitter account Too Much Doubt to see and learn more about this unusual case. Think about if it's your cousin or your brother. You'd say, this is an urgent matter. Let's not execute what may be, very well be, an innocent person. So, gentlemen, a final point. Look at our college hymn and the promises we make. You've met the people that make this community extraordinary. The promises they keep, we keep. The students and the talent we represent as Morehouse. You've sent some good energy for Morehouse out into the universe today through tweeting and Facebooking. Let's let this be a year of embracing our college. With all of its warts, it's still our college. Let's love this college into the beauty and the excellence we know that it is capable of. Take a look at this final symbol. Because in addition to brands that make promises, I want to submit that ultimately a brand is about enhancing life, but a symbol is about transforming life. Think about the distinction as you move through your life today and the rest of your days. The products that promise you enhancement and those invitations to transformation. And I would submit, yes, Morehouse is a brand. That was the earlier Graves Hall, that symbol we have of holding the crown above our heads that we flash at football games. But beyond that, there is the opportunity for enlightenment, ethical service, mentoring others that leads to a deeper transformation. We are proud of the many kudos that this institution has earned in recent days and years. The Chronicle of Higher Education, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Monthly, and in the printed version of this speech online, you'll be able to read more about the details. I've talked too long, I want to wrap up. But I simply want to remind us that we have an opportunity to participate in a transformative experience. This is our year. Let this be a year of improving Morehouse, of advancing the Renaissance, of doing all we can to lift our community as we climb. So let's have a great year. Thank you. I bid you Godspeed.
We now ask Dr. Ann Watts, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, to come forward to announce the Vulcan Materials Company Teaching and Excellence Award to the Morehouse College Faculty Member of the Year.
Thank you, Provost Jackson. It has already been established that excellence in teaching is a hallmark at Morehouse College. For the past 8 years, Morehouse College has received support from the Vulcan Materials Company, Southeast Division, and the Georgia Independent College Association to honor a faculty member for outstanding teaching. The faculty member who receives this distinguished award must be recommended by a division dean or department chair, though he or she may be nominated by a faculty member or peer, but still must receive the nomination from the dean or the chair. He or she must be an outstanding teacher, as evidenced by peer review and student evaluations. He or she must have provided service to the college, as evidenced by service on committees, developing and or participating in initiatives and in other relevant activities. He or she must have provided service to the community, as evidenced by developing and participation in community activities that are designed to make life better for others. And he or she must have provided service to the profession, as evidenced by attendance at conferences, participation on panels, presentation of scholarly papers, and the like. The winner of this prestigious award receives a check in the amount of $1,000 and a beautiful certificate as a signal of this honor. At this time, I'm asking President Franklin and Provost Jackson to join me at the podium. President Franklin, Provost Jackson, in recognition of outstanding contributions to undergraduate education, student learning, and campus life, the Vulcan Materials Company and the Georgia Independent College Association are pleased to present its Teaching Excellence Award to the Morehouse College 2011-2012 Outstanding Faculty Member of the Year. He is a mentor, community leader, administrator, extraordinary vocalist, writer, composer, conductor, teacher, producer, creative genius, and servant of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2011-2012 Faculty Member of the Year is none other than Dr. Uzi Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your many points of light as we begin another academic year. It is said that the best days of a school or a college are its beginning days or its first days. And for me, your remarks today highlight that. In fact, it reminds me of my favorite poem by Emily Dickinson. The reason our best days are here now is because at Morehouse we still dwell in possibility. And so I challenge you to continue to think positively and to dwell in possibility, moving beyond brand to symbol. Thank you, Mr. President, for laying down the gauntlet. We are ready for the challenge. After the singing of the college hymn, we ask the audience to remain seated. Dr. Watts will give instructions for the recessional and for students to access those all-important scanners.
Please be seated. We have a recessional, and it must be done in dignity, in accordance with the way we do things in Morehouse College. No scanners should be turned on, please. And please take your seat, men of Morehouse. Thank you very much. Can we have order and quietness for the dignity of the recessional? I know you'll do this because you are men of Morehouse, and this is what men of Morehouse do all the time. Thank you. We are asking you to remain seated until the recessional has been completed. Then scanners may be turned on. Those of you who do not have your ID cards or ID cards that are defective, we will repeat what we did last week, and you are to come down front and sign in. But this is only for persons who, for whatever reason, may not have ID cards. We want the ushers to clear the aisles at this time. The platform party will exit at stage left through the doors to the chapel library, where you will find your belongings from the boardroom. The faculty and staff will then recess immediately after the platform party, followed by the men of the senior class. The men of the Morehouse College Glee Club may exit as usual from stage right. We ask the audience to remain seated until the recessional has ended. Then the scanners may be turned on and you may be dismissed. Thank you very much.